All right. Welcome back to another episode of the Gym Business Coach Podcast. I'm your host today, Randy Yangton, joined with Zack Columbia.
Yo.
Hello. Welcome back.
We should do it behind the scenes.
We should do, yeah.
Behind the scenes. You have no idea the conversations that happen before we start rolling.
It's a good time here. We have a lot of fun doing this.
Glad we have editors.
Yeah. Oh,
Good job, Brian. Good job.
Thanks, Brian. If you joined us on our last episode, we talked about the how complexity could be hurting your ability to scale from a client-facing side. For today's episode, we're going to dive into more of the operational staff structure and a little bit of like the inner workings of why complexity could be hurting your ability to scale and why simplicity might be the ticket you're looking for. Zach, where do you want to take this one to start?
I think the hero hustle is a good place to start. If your business cannot run without you, we talk about this all the time. But if it can't run without you because you're the only person that can do the things, then that's a pretty clear indication that your business is like too complex. When you simplify things down to like, here's what we do, here's how we do it, it's very systematic. Or I should say it's easier to systemize.
Yes, I would.
Right?
Yeah.
Because if you're a one-man show and it's like you just jump in and you do all of the things like, hey, I run a sales consultation and here's, when somebody comes in, and I'm having the conversation with them, I change how I do the consultation based off of what the person says or what ad they came in on or the hook or whatever. And then if they say this, then I go this direction with the consultation. Or if they say this, then I go this direction with well, you can't teach somebody that process.
Sure. Yeah, that's based on, it's pretty much the person that's in the seat.
Yes, exactly. It's very dependent on you having that conversation. So all the time in somebody's business, that's the process. So I'm using the consultation as an example. Well, I just based off of what they say, here's how I respond. Well, try teaching a staff member to sell the way that you do that, if that's the way you do it. Now take that same kind of concept and apply it to how you run a training session.
There you go.
If I run a training session and the client comes in and they go to do their squat and I see this, then I have these 7 different things that I might switch to depending on the day, right? If they say this or I see this, then I go this direction with here's how I adjust. How can you teach a coach to mimic that and to be you?
Yeah.
You can't. So we have a great gym in the Iron Circle, and it's been a couple of years now. And when they got in, I was doing a semi-private pro call with them. We were talking about their programming and I was asking them, okay, well, how do you design the program for the clients? And it was like, well, it depends on the client and what their goals are and all that. I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense. But like, what's your methodology? Well, it depends on like when they were in last. And then it depends on how many sessions they did, last week versus the week before. And then I'm like, well, help me find some sort of common theme here. If they, come in as like, would you do dumbbell, like barbell stuff in the first block and then dumbbell stuff in the second block? It just depends on the this and that and like all these things. And in the owner's mind, man, it's like they know the system. It's clear. It's like, well, here's why I do it this way based off of what the client, does.
Sure.
Okay. But how can you then have a staff member take that over? Or how can you have a coach know what to do with a client the way that you would do it if there's no repeatable system to this. You can't. The answer is that you can't. You're stuck in that seat, and the only way that you can grow the business is you're the one delivering the training. Or you take somebody and you find the unicorn that thinks the way that you think, and they spend a year mentoring with you and observing you, and it's the perfect person, and they devote all this time to being with you before you could ever even be like, hey, okay, you're going to go train Miss Johnson.
Yeah.
So,
and then they leave.
yeah.
You know?
And so it's just not a recipe built for scale.
Yeah.
So you look at a franchise. A franchise has their book of SOPs, and they give you that, and you go and you follow the book. That's what you get. You're buying systems that have already been tried and true and created so that you can just go implement them.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing that with dozens, hundreds, thousands of locations, different owners, different qualifications, different staff that are being brought into that system. And it allows you to scale.
Yeah. I think about franchises a lot when we talk about systems, and especially in this, environment. If we were to relate this to a different industry, a Starbucks, right? They don't customize the drink. They don't ask the customer, how do you want your, when they order something off the menu, it's not, how do you want this, what parts of each ingredient do you want today type of thing. And it's not customized to that scale, right? This is how we make it. This is what you ordered. This is how you're going to receive it. And you can walk into any one of those around the world and get the same drink the same way because you ordered what, right off their menu. And that's scalability, right? That's how they've been able to scale and get to those locations. If it was the mom and pop coffee shop, that was doing custom drinks, how you ordered it, that's the same level of friction when it comes to scalability. How do you teach everybody all of those things? And
yeah, but even right down to the price on the menu. Hey, you're gonna order this cup of coffee. Well, today I think based off I think I could sell it to you for $4.99, but then this next person comes in and I'm like, hey, it's $4.99. Like, that's a lot for a cup of coffee. You're like, $2.50.
Yeah.
And you have no idea what your margins are on a cup of coffee.
Yeah, we see that. I mean, we've seen it with plenty of gyms that have gone through our coaching programs where maybe they're operating out of a place of kind of desperation or scarcity.
Yeah.
Right? To where they'll do anything to create.
Are you a first responder? Are you first responder?
Yeah.
Are you a veteran? Yeah. Okay, the cup of coffee is now.
Is your husband or wife come and train with you today?
380. Yeah. Oh, wait, you're going to send other people in maybe in 6 months? You promised me that you have a big network of people. You're a very important person. You know people in the neighborhood. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a discount or give you your coffee for free in hopes that you'll send other people. We're making a joke. Yeah. We're making a joke out of it, but we have so many conversations, and this is a reality in the business. And so, you just can't run a successful business like that. I think we're kind of regressing a little bit here, but
I was like, go back to the first responder thing. I'm like, where is he going with this? What? That's way off the wall. But
it's just so true. So back to the simplicity scales and complexity fails really is the message, but for your staff, is the point of this episode.
Well, and on the last episode, we talked about even service offerings. You know what I mean? If you've got a team of trainers and sometime, this session they have to do large group, next session they're doing small group or semi-private, either way, one or the other. Doesn't matter for the context of the conversation, or youth sports performance. And what is the likelihood that you're going to find and attract quality coaches that can actually take that on and do any one of them really well, let alone all of them very well?
Yeah. And then how do you develop the skills, hard and soft, to be a great coach for a 10-year-old, then have adult conversations with a 40-year-old,
Mhm.
and then be empathetic and understanding of a 75-year-old that all have different limitations or different places in life, even down to just being relatable at
Mhm.
each level. Like those things are not thought about, I don't think, in our industry when you're setting up your business. You're like, yeah, I want to do youth training. That's super exciting for me. But you know what? That's not going to pay the bills. So like we have to do adult too. Well, just the complexity of that. And I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying that like they're totally different business models, from how you market to how you hire to how you package it or price it with the membership options and like all those things. They're just different businesses.
Very much so. I mean, even your price point, I think, is a level of complexity that can, if you've got a low price point, volume play, okay, well, how does that impact the staff when you've got 400 members to try and pay the bills versus a gym that has, equal revenue doing it with 100, 150?
Yeah.
Like we see that a lot. And in this industry, it's funny. We almost hold client count as like that's the KPI or the metric that most gym owners are constantly focused on, and they assume that revenue is a byproduct of client count when it absolutely can be the inverse, right? If you have a price point that serves the business, the margins are where you need to be in order to have profit and can put money and carry cash flow and all those things. You don't need 1,000 people to make that revenue. You can do it with a higher price point and fewer people. And then obviously one of the things that we do all the time is help gyms transition away from some of those volume type services, large group specifically. And they're shocked at how quote unquote easier the business is to manage and operate, because they're not dealing with 500 people's card cancellations and accountability when they're not showing up. They're not chasing them down and tracking them down. All of the things that come with the more people in the business. It's so much easier on the other side to manage. And I use easy because because at the end of the day, it's, in my opinion, it's a little bit more streamlined.
Yeah. Well, from your staff's perspective, like it's hard to connect and build relationships with, 200 people that I'm training. If I'm doing large group and throughout the week, I'm seeing 200 different people, bodies, things like that. Like, and your coaches know that if I see the same 50 clients a week and they have different, contraindications and things I have to be aware of, things I have to modify and adjust for them. Like I know all of that. And I know that client really, really well. I can deliver a great experience for that person. You get beyond like 50 clients per coach. Now all of a sudden I start forgetting things. I'm like, oh yeah, you do have that knee injury. I just asked you to jump on a box. Like I didn't remember. And you look just like the other 10 Sarahs that are here. And like,
the Dunbar number is what, 150 personal relationships any human can typically manage, right? So, I mean, if you think of, because our coaches have lives outside of here, those are personal relationships that they're managing as well, right? So how many clients are they responsible for on top of their personal life, on top of part of that job is knowing those situations and those issues that clients have and being able to speak to them, program or modify for them. And if you do get that number too high, I mean, we were talking with the gym the other day. I don't remember who it was, but the gym owner themselves was doing something like 80, 100 different clients a week. And it's as one individual.
Yeah.
What is our typical, I know you probably know it offhand. Like what is our coaches typically about 50 clients?
50 is the kind of the max, right? So, when you get, and that's a simple equation, right? Like, hey, I'm get to 50 clients per coach. I'm beyond that. Like I need to hire somebody. That's a very easy way of looking at it, oversimplified way of looking at it.
But that is in itself, it's a system for scalability.
Exactly.
Right. We're not taxing that one individual to go, hey, sorry, you're going to have to be busier. You're going to have to manage all these things, which will have a negative impact on the client experience because nobody's capable of doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So the system is we got to bring in another person, another body to manage those people.
Yeah, but I mean, so the simplicity piece of it, when we're talking about like your team and execution, you're from a staffing standpoint or from a team standpoint, it's like if each person in your business knows what your business is, what the mission is, who you serve, who the clients are, they know their role and they have the capacity to deliver on it, then that gives you freedom as an owner. Because it eliminates a lot of the confusion and like this isn't getting done type of thing. If you're running from a place of hustle and scrambling to put out fires and all of those things, then your staff is going to act the exact same way. And everybody, like gym owners probably have a special talent, I think, for putting out fires and almost keeping up.
Sure.
But
Okay.
everybody has that threshold where it's like, oh, I forgot that. I missed it. I had to put out this fire and I forgot to call Miss Johnson, right? And so things start to get missed. Well, that is also going to trickle downhill to your staff, and they're going to be busy putting out fires and hustling, and they're going to be like, I forgot to do that. And a lot of times we have things in our business that are not simplified or automated or structured the way that they should be. And then, when things aren't getting done and it starts creating these issues, it's like, is that because I told the staff like because the staff sucks and I told them 50 times and they just what am I saying? They're not executing on it,
yeah.
Or is it like a system problem?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll give you an example of this. When I first started here, every client that was a semi-private client had a folder in the filing cabinet out there. So you look at the schedule, you see who's coming in, you pull out each client's folder, and inside the folder you have a coach's or a client card. And the client card has like the workouts they've done and all that. And so what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to initial it and circle what workout they did today. That way, if they come and train with somebody else, you pull that out, look what they did. Okay, here's where they're at with things. Which is great in theory, but what happens if you're slammed at the end of a training session? You don't have enough time to fill out the card and start on time with the next group. And then it doesn't get documented. Then that client comes back later in the week, trains with another coach. It didn't get documented what that client did. And so now the coach is like, oh, I'm going to do this workout with you. This is the next one on the list. And now the client's like, well, I already did that workout, and the coach is now scrambling to figure out what workout they're supposed to do. They're behind schedule. Like it's this trickle down.
That's a snowball effect, right? Right. The problem just gets bigger and bigger. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you can go, okay, well, fill out the card, right? Fill out the card. Like that's the easy solution. Why isn't the card getting filled out?
That's the question.
Is there a better way where we don't need the card anymore? Simple thing to look at. And you could go, well, this worked this is how I did it when I was training and I had 30 clients or 40 clients or 50 clients. And so that's what the staff is doing. But now that we have 200 clients and we have 4 coaches, like maybe this isn't the most simplistic and streamlined system that we can operate with. And so it's like, well, what's the simplest thing that we can do here to make this process automatic?
Systemized.
Yeah. And so from a staffing standpoint, the simpler your business is, the easier things run, the easier it is for you to scale. So we have the Eisenhower matrix.
Yep.
It applies to every level in or every component in your business, and right down to how your staff is making decisions too.
Yeah. And for those not aware, the Eisenhower matrix breaks down, is it urgent, not urgent? Is it important, not important? And then you can throw those basically into quadrants. And that's how you start to prioritize, what tasks need to be done by me today, what can be delegated, what can be eliminated if it's not important and not urgent, could probably just not be happening. And then the third quadrant, you can probably systemize, right? It's urgent, it's important, but not urgent.
And you can automate.
You can automate, systemize. Yeah, exactly. So, man, we've broken down in the previous episode. We talked about how complexity is a linchpin in growth from a client-facing side, right? We know that doing business with you easy is important when it comes to clients. But for today's episode, think about it through the lens of your team, your staff, the operation itself. Really pull back the curtain, look at those systems that you have in place, see where you have opportunity to optimize. If you need help with this is something that Zach and I, coach clients on every single week in our Springboard program. There's a link in the show notes for that. But before we let you go, we do have our growth summit coming up in June. I know we were on a team call yesterday, so we're getting to the next point where our ticket prices are going to go up again. If you want to lock in your tickets, head to fitprogrowthsummit.com. Grab your tickets there. The price you see on that page is going to be the cheapest that you're going to be able to get tickets for. They will go up from there as we get closer and start filling more seats. Lock that in. Anything else you want to add for today?
Rock and roll. Keep it simple. Simplicity scales.
Keep it simple. They're the old KISS method, right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. That's all we have for this episode. Keep changing lives. We'll see you in the next show.